Welcome to Only Murders in My Mind. Hello everybody, it's Thursday. It's 5 p.m. and it's Only Murders in My Mind with Liz Hedgecock.
Hello.
And Mike Jackson.
Hi, both of you.
How are you both?
Yo.
How are you both?
Both of us are fine. I think.
Yeah, reasonable. Slightly coldy, but hopefully I'll make it to the end of the episode.
Yes.
That's what I'm aiming for.
Yes. If there's any sneezing or coughing, Liz can't help it, and you will not catch it down the microphone, so don't worry about that.
And I will try and turn away first, rather than deafen everybody.
We are looking very professional today because each of us is wearing headphones.
Yeah, we've got cans on our heads.
Yeah, it's a bit startling, really.
Yeah. Just make a difference, John.
John tells us it makes us at least look professional.
Quite.
Oh. So what are you both up to? I know Liz is busy doing her latest project with her co-writer.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I am finishing off the final proof of A Tale of Tea and Dragons.
Da, da, da.
Yes, which does involve a little bit of mystery, but really it's a fantasy rom-com, so not really in the scope of, all our crime does happen, so I suppose, reasonable.
Yeah, that's true.
And then plotting book 2, which we're going to start writing next month.
So when you talked about this, did you have 3 books in your mind?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it came from an idea of Paula's.
Right.
As these things quite often do. Paula has a lot of weird dreams and sometimes they end up becoming books. So she had this idea about someone who had, magical powers and could make magical infusions like teas and things. And then, she has a dilemma and she has to think about how she's going to manage that. So it all kind of grew from there.
Or you could go to Amsterdam for the weekend. Just saying.
Yeah, that would also work.
Though there might not be any dragons.
No. Well, there would.
I think there probably would be, depending on how many of the special brownies you eat.
I've got one on my back. Well, actually, it's on my shoulder. I've got a tattoo of a dragon on my shoulder. And one of a lizard running up my arm. So that's too much personal information.
The podcaster with the dragon tattoo.
That's me. Mm-hmm. What was it Ben called me when I had it done? The old lady with the dragon tattoo.
Oh,
no. It hurt. Have you done any writing lately, Mike?
I don't know if I mentioned this last time, that I've just published a couple of flash fiction books.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Oh, didn't I? Under a pen name.
We talked about a pen name.
We talked about pen names recently, didn't we? And
what did you come up with in the end?
what, the pen name? I'm not telling you. Then you'll know who the pen name is linked to.
Oh, so right, okay. the man is a mystery.
Definitely.
That's what I like. I like to be mysterious. Yeah.
Oh, so we don't just come up with these 5 minutes before the recordings, but we have things called production meetings. We're very professional. And one of the things we decided that our listeners enjoy is anything to do with Agatha Christie. So this is Around the World with AC, Agatha Christie. And the countries that she's visited and the places that she's written about. Lots of interesting things, some in this country and some in far-flung places. And when you think we're going back to when travel wasn't a big thing, I know she was a woman of means, but she did travel quite a lot, didn't she?
She did, yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. There probably weren't many women of her time who travelled as extensively as she did.
No.
I suppose part of it was it her first husband, second husband was an archaeologist.
Yeah, but also her first husband, they did
on
a world tour
That's
basically.
right.
Yeah. Even when she was a girl, her family, because they were, in interesting financial circumstances, used to let out their house for the summer and go and spend the summer in the south of France. Poor things.
I know.
I know.
Tragedy.
Yes. It's a tale of deprivation, isn't it?
Oh.
But yeah, so that idea of, long lazy days and, probably comparatively luxurious living, even if they were supposedly down on their uppers.
I just can't see them with spam butties on the beach, can you?
No.
I know, I don't think spam butties featured at all.
But it's interesting when you look into this, is how some of her early writing was obviously influenced by some of these European travels. And then later on, during the World War, when obviously travel was restricted, so the theme or the settings of her books changed as well.
Yeah, yeah. She moved with the times, didn't she?
Yeah. I imagine as well there would have been what felt like comparative freedom between the wars.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the round the world tour they did was 1924-25, so that would have
After
fitted
the-
in nicely.
After
Yes.
the First World War,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and I imagine if you had the money, then you probably did feel like, right, well, we're going to live a little.
Yeah. I mean, it's not really a comparison, but a lot of people felt trapped by COVID, especially people that like to travel abroad and have made up for it since.
Yeah.
They've done a lot of holidays since we are not a pandemic world.
So, I mean, we've seen that, haven't we, about how a big event can actually change the way people think about,
Yes.
what's important to us.
Yeah, so that's interesting.
It was interesting looking. I mean, I was looking and apparently Poirot, actually, some of the quotes that you get from Poirot are very linked into archaeological
Oh, really?
digs. Yeah, I mean,
Ooh, do you have examples, Mike?
well, I've got one. In Murder in Mesopotamia, Poirot says, the truth, however buried, will eventually surface like pottery shards after a desert storm.
Ooh, very philosophical.
Well, and it's also, you can see that, she
Is there
knew
an
all
archaeological
about...
theme to that book?
That's one I've not read.
Yes,
so
there
I
is.
don't
have
know.
done, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there's murders in tents, not intense. There are murders of people who are sleeping in a tent.
Which I bet they're quite intense
Yes.
too.
Yeah, but she's got background knowledge
Yeah.
of
What the areas
Mesopotamia,
like.
Mesopotamia itself,
You
and
write
also
what you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very much
Yeah,
so.
because I know Poirot in the film did not like the heat.
Mm.
He had his little thing, fly swatter thing.
Apparently, she was also, or I don't know whether she wrote it or somebody else did, a book called "Come, Tell Me How You Live," which is sort of autobiographical. Yeah, that one. Which I think it was
I think
either
she wrote that, yeah.
Yeah, she either was one that she wrote after Round the World with her first husband, or it's linked into the digs that she went on with her second husband. But partly in that, she said, you learn more about a person's true character in one season at a dig, so it must have been with her second husband when she was doing the digs, than in years of social acquaintance. The heat, the isolation, the intensity of shared purpose, it strips away all pretense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just reading up about this book, Come Tell Me How You Live. And it's a short book of autobiography and travel literature, one of only 2 books that she wrote and had published under both her married names of Christie and Mallowan.
Oh, right.
That's interesting.
That's
as well.
her second husband.
Yes.
Yes.
First
Yeah.
published in 1946.
Yeah.
So something where I didn't know about. I didn't know she'd written these. So
Yeah. And apparently in Appointment with Death, the victim is found in Petra.
Yes.
And Christie uses the ancient settings to explore themes of family secrets buried amongst generations.
Well, I mean, I was looking originally at the ones she used in this country. So we know that Miss Marple lived in St Mary Mead, which was a fictitious, having your problem, Mike, fictitious village, small town. It would be I was going to try and think, like Cotswolds, would it be that type of place?
I imagine it's
I would
probably
imagine.
home counties.
Yes,
so.
yeah.
Yes.
But it was and always came over as being the quintessential English village, which is exactly what she wanted.
When did she write? Is that where she started writing once the travelling has stopped? When during the war and...
I don't know. I mean, when did you start writing the Miss Marple
Don't know.
books?
Don't know.
Not sure.
But I'm willing to guess that because that's much more home-based, home counties, it may be that, when her own travels were restricted because of the war, she changed the emphasis of her settings.
And concentrated on
Okay, so with Miss Marple, her first appearance was in a short story, 1927, The Tuesday Nightclub.
All right.
Oh yes, we've mentioned
Which became
this
the first
before.
chapter of the 13
Yeah,
Problems.
yeah.
And her first full-length novel was 1930, The Murder at the Vicarage.
Right, yeah, I know that one
So-
quite well. I know the Nass House is actually Greenways. She did write a book which was Dead Man's Folly, which was set in her home setting, Greenways, which I think you can visit, can't you?
Yeah, I've been. It's lovely.
Oh,
Been a few
love
times.
to go there.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's a lovely house. And what comes over really strongly is they were collectors, because there's collections of things everywhere, you know, all this stuff. And it's, the place is all done out nicely, and there's, a grand piano and sheet music and just stuff generally. And it's great. And the garden is amazing.
I was going to say, because there's quite a lot of grounds, isn't there?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think in Dead Man's Folly, there's a garden that slopes down to the sea.
Yeah, and there's a boathouse, isn't there?
Yes, there is. And
that's
that Greenway has one too.
Yeah. And in the book, it's called, is it Nass House or Nasse? Nasse.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, whichever.
Yeah. Now, this is a place I would love to visit. And in her books, it was called Solida Island. And it's Berg Island, the one you have to go over with the great big, you go up onto this contraption with big wheels, and it goes across it on low tide.
Yeah,
and it's an Art Deco hotel, which is still very popular.
Very expensive too.
Yeah, well,
very. Yeah.
I know someone who's been to Berg Island,
I do,
but not stayed.
Yes.
So
one of my favourite authors, Erica James, went there for a few days. She put it on social media, was very, very envious. It looked amazing.
Yeah.
And one of the books that there was based, And Then There Were None, which is a very famous Agatha Christie book. And then St. Lute and Daymouth, fictional coastal towns, were The Peril at the End House and The Body in the Library, another one of my favourites, The Body in the Library.
Oh, yes.
They were based there. So she looked at where she'd been on holiday and things like that and just made up names. You've made up some good names for some of your places.
Have I now?
Yes, I'm not saying anything more.
But it's also, it's the modes of transport, isn't it? I mean,
Yes.
she lived in an age where, luxury travel was something that she could afford.
Yeah.
And she travelled during the interwar period. And in her autobiography, she says, the Orient Express was not merely transportation, it was a floating microcosm of European society, complete with all its prejudices, secrets and pretensions. So if she's travelled on that, that's what must give her ideas for books like...
And let's face it, that's a particular, quite well-heeled slice of European society, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not cheap to go on the Orient Express. It's not now. It wasn't then.
No, but you can imagine her sitting there on that as a passenger on holiday, thinking, I've just noticed so and so. I must just make a note of that. He'd make a good character, or she'd make a good character.
And probably because it's that sort of restricted slice of people, there's every chance that they will know each other or be acquainted, especially if they're regular travellers.
Yeah. They'll know of each other at the very least, won't they?
Yeah. They'll probably know people who know them, and possibly even have beef with somebody. So.
Yeah, that is my all-time favourite Agatha Christie book, Murder on the Orient Express.
I mean, also the other thing that came out when I was looking at this was that inequality. So, for example, on Death on the Nile, she shows the disparity between the luxury cruise passengers and the Egyptian workers, which provides both a backdrop and a motive for murder. So she was very, very aware of that inequality and fed it into some of her stories.
Although I was reading an article about Agatha Christie's foreign set novels, and one of the things they said was that basically, all her main characters pretty much are going to be European or American.
Yeah.
She doesn't really talk about the Iraqis, the Syrians, the Egyptians.
No.
They're sort of there for local colour.
Yeah,
really.
they're in the background, aren't they?
And that's probably what her readers wanted. I mean, she knew what, or maybe it was her publisher.
Well, I think the other thing too, I mean, from various documentaries and films I've seen, a lot of the people who were doing that sort of luxury travel at that time were mixing with people they knew. They were staying at the same hotels, they're travelling on the same luxurious trains. So really they didn't have much interaction with locals. So that's probably why she was writing about what she knew again, and she didn't know much about, I'm guessing, she didn't know much about the locals because she didn't need to. Yeah. It's a bit like, here some people like to go on holiday in Spain, and they go because they know they're going to get English food and they're going to get English bars, and it's like another England, but it's sunny.
Yeah, or people who go on those kind of all-inclusives where it's just a gated sort of resort, and
you don't go out.
Yeah, you don't go anywhere.
No,
I mean, I must admit, having done a couple of canal cruises, it's the nearest I'll ever get to like a luxury holiday, because you do feel, I mean, they're not cheap, but you do feel like you are special, because there's not huge numbers of people on the boats, and the staff are so good. They'll do anything for you. They'll go out of their way to help you and all the rest of it. So I suppose that's the closest I'll ever get to
luxury.
The sort of thing that they had back then.
Yes.
Being first class on the Titanic, for example. No, that's not a good one, is it?
Possibly not. No.
Oh no, I got my feet wet.
Going back to that again, something else that Christie said during World War II. Christie's settings became more confined and British, and apparently she wrote in 1943 in a letter, "The world has shrunk to our island, but human nature remains as complex and murderous as ever, perhaps more so under pressure."
Yeah,
agreed.
Yeah, I mean, I read an article from a psychologist, and it's not a thing that you won't have heard before, but they said we are all capable of murder under the right circumstances. And for somebody like me, it might be protecting your children. You would murder to protect your children. And it's true when we get down to basic levels. I think we're all capable of sticking the knife into somebody if it's us or them.
Yeah.
Or them or somebody we love very much. So I think we walk a very thin line between being sort of nice people and being savage. Thinking about Lord of the Rings, and not Lord of the Rings, Lord of the Flies. Thank you.
Yeah.
wrong book. So it is a very narrow line. One of the ones I looked at was she did holiday in Barbados, and from that she got the fictional island of Saint Henry, and that's where A Caribbean Mystery is set.
Oh yes,
another one of my favourites. I've got a lot of favourites, let's face it. But that was a nice one, because you wouldn't expect a little Miss Marple to be on a Caribbean island, would you? But it was it her nephew had paid for it?
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it something like for her health?
Yes.
She'd been a bit run down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which
nice
again,
warm winter would help.
Yeah. In the circles that Agatha Christie lived, that was not unusual.
No.
For somebody to pay for a poor relation to have a week somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm a poor relation. I'd like to go to Barbados. Any of the family listening?
It seemed to be a much more of a thing, though, because going back a long way now, the chalet school books, and there'd always be like delicate girls who'd been, sent to France or Switzerland for their health, so they'd been near a sanatorium. It's like, blimey.
Yeah. Yeah, because they were delicate.
Yes.
I think the war obviously had an impact on her thinking too, because I found another quote from her where she wrote, "When you cannot escape to distant lands, you must excavate the mysteries that lie beneath familiar surfaces."
Yeah, well, that's what she did as well, wasn't it? When she looked at like places around the UK that she then changed names.
Yeah.
For.
And yet she must have missed it, because in 1946, after the war, I think it's the Labours of Hercules collection, she noted, "Travel has returned, and with it the delicious possibility of murder in paradise regained." She was very adaptable.
Yeah.
The fact that she wasn't right the way through the war, she didn't think, well, I've been on all these travels, I can keep writing about exotic train journeys and what have you. Because I suppose when you think about it, her audience during the war didn't really want to read about a murder on a Orient Express or something happening in Mesopotamia. They wanted it to be more homegrown.
Yeah.
We are an island. We were an island, and at war with everybody else at the time.
Yeah, and I suppose that's the thing, isn't it? If she done one of her very glamorous Orient Express style books, it probably wouldn't have been very relatable.
No, it wouldn't
people
be.
who are,
Rations
living on coupons for everything.
Yeah.
And I think it would have just made them resent the book and maybe even not buy it. So.
Yeah. I mean, again, going back to COVID, I wrote a not history. I wrote a biography of my time during the COVID pandemic, and it sold dreadfully. And I think it's because people had just had enough. They didn't want to read anything else about COVID. They just wanted to forget about it. So
it's a shame. It was a good book.
Yeah, but lesson learned. You know.
Well.
Because I heard that from a few other authors that they'd written books, and it was around, they were fictional, mine wasn't, around the COVID experience, and they'd not sold well because people were exhausted with the whole thing. They just didn't want to know any more about it. But and I can understand that as well, because we'd been forced to stay indoors except for going for your hourly walk.
Oh yes,
every day. You know, we were all sort of getting fed up with the people we were stuck at home with. Wasn't so bad in this house because everybody can go off to their own room. I suppose they can in your houses as well, and actually stay away from each other. But I did read, like, there was a guy who thought it was a good idea down south in London to move in with his girlfriend because of COVID, so they could be together, and they ended up splitting up because they ended up hating each other.
Well, I imagine if you move into, say, a flat that really is designed for one person, and say you're both having to work from home, I imagine that would just really not work.
No, hadn't thought it through, obviously. Yeah, I know my friend's son, that happened to them, and he ended up getting married and having children with his person that he moved in with. So yay there.
There you go.
I just wanted to say hello to Joanne, my hairdresser, who is one of our biggest fans, and she listens every week. She's a very good hairdresser. She's the best colourist in all the world.
Is she the one that thinks that you two get at me?
Yes.
I thought, lovely lady. Never met her. But she's absolutely right. They always what's her name again?
Sorry.
Joanne, they're always getting it. Yeah, Joanne. Always. I sit in this corner cowering while they just attack me every 5 minutes.
Terrified he is, yeah.
He really
Terrifying.
doesn't.
So if you want Joanne to do your colour on your hair, it's Michelle & Co. in Warrington. There's the advert.
Blimey.
I must give that some thought next time I want colour in my hair.
But anyway, back to
Agatha.
Yeah,
apparently her travels, we've talked before, haven't we, about Agatha and the use of poisons. And apparently her travels influence her there, because again she said in one of her notebooks, and I found out recently, I've been trying to get hold of one, but they're very difficult to get hold of, that somebody, I think it was a niece of hers, a relative after she died, found a great set of secret notebooks. And apparently she used to use ordinary sort of school textbooks as notebooks. And somebody called John Curran, I think, has had access to these, has written a book all about her secret notebooks. And apparently in these, there are, you can see her notes that were the beginning of one of her Poirot stories, and there are all, even one or two stories that never got published.
They're
note for.
They'll be worth a bit.
Well, I'm just thinking it's a book that we ought to try and get hold of and read, because it would make a good podcast.
It'd be a good topic to talk about, wouldn't it? Yeah.
I wonder whether they'll digitise them or do a facsimile, because I bet people would be interested enough to get them.
Yeah. I know I was in London recently, and I went to the Chelsea, I want to say Psychic Gardens, but what are they?
Physic Garden.
Physic Garden. And there was a poison garden there, and there was a plaque that said that, I didn't know this, we knew she'd worked as a pharmacist during both wars, but she actually did do qualifications at the Chelsea thingy gardens. She took exams in pharmacy, so she not only was she very knowledgeable, she actually had qualifications. So
well, apparently one of these notebooks she wrote, every garden in the tropics is a potential pharmacy, both for healing and deadly.
Ooh, yes. Yeah, I bet it is. Because this
I'm not sure I'd want her to make me a cup of tea,
No.
Infuse it with something really nice.
Yeah.
Because this poison garden, it said, do not touch, do not touch, do not touch. And as you're coming out of it, there's a sign that says, just because you're coming out of the poison garden doesn't mean the plants beyond it are not dangerous. Do not touch.
Gosh.
So, yeah. all the parents were walking around with their little kids going, "Don't touch that! Don't touch that! What are you doing?"
Yeah, I wouldn't take mine there at all.
Wow.
Even though they're practically grown up, she says.
Practically grown up and going off to university.
Yes, indeed. Yes, the oldest one is going to be off. Well, I mean, probably by the time this episode goes out, it will be.
Well, my two boys are in their 40s, and I don't think they're grown up either of them.
Well, I'm not sure I've grown up.
No, a wise man once told me we shouldn't take ourselves too seriously because there should be a bit of tomfoolery and joy in life, as long as you're not doing it at somebody's expense. So I'm all for that, and we have a good laugh here, don't we?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
So why do you think then that Agatha did so many books set abroad or partly abroad?
I think it's because of the life that she lived in terms of the world tour with one husband, going to all those archaeological digs with husband number two. It opened up a world that just most people didn't have access to. Even the richer people, while they were going on holiday, would have been going to the same resorts, would have been going on the luxury cruises and the luxury trains. She was going off more than that. She was doing all that
off piste, wasn't she?
and doing the archaeological digs as well.
She was going to places that weren't comfortable for a genteel woman to live. She was in a tent in the middle of Egypt. You know?
Yeah, I think another thing, I don't know whether this came from a book or from her notes, but she said, the travelling detective novelist has access to the best consultants, local doctors eager to discuss their most interesting cases.
Yeah, well, they would be, wouldn't they? Especially with somebody like her that's got that knowledge.
Yeah. So she's picking up all sorts. As a writer, it must have been a wealth of information that she was picking up, different characters.
And I imagine, of course, people, when they realise it's Agatha Christie, they'll be like, "Oh, I've got something for you. You could use this."
I can tell you that. Yeah.
You do wonder whether she was one of these that was sit quietly in the corner and watch people.
Oh yeah, I think there would be a lot of that going on.
You would have thought so.
Yeah.
If she was allowed to.
If she was allowed to.
Yeah.
But the fact that she's got these secret notebooks, she was obviously a note taker.
Yeah. Yeah. Some writers are, though. They take notes all the time. Yeah. I think one of the reasons she wrote them and that they were so popular because the ordinary person could transport themselves to a somewhere that was unobtainable for them. It's like when we say, well, we like watching Death in Paradise. It's because you're going to a beautiful island where it's sunny and hot and everybody's wearing bright clothes, and it just takes you out, especially in the winter. Takes you out of your sort of. I don't think we have a mundane, dull existence per se, but generally, then when she was writing these books, the average working person. It was a bit of a drudge, wasn't it? The wife very often was at home. It wasn't very often women had a job then, looking after the family and the house, and the husband would go out at 9 o'clock and come back at 5. So to be able to transport somebody into a completely different world must have been quite magical.
And yet, you do wonder if her most famous books would be the ones that are set in this country. Her Poirot and her Miss Marple series.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But then again, Death on the Nile, Orient Express, they've got to be
they're
two
classics,
of the most famous ones.
Yeah.
But and then there were none, which is, again, Berg Island, that whole thing of a private island owned by, was it a millionaire?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And perfect setting for an Agatha Christie with all the art deco and Art Nouveau stuff in the, because it's still there, obviously. Wonderful things.
And I suppose the thing is, maybe with that, you can enjoy the murder without thinking that could happen to me,
because it can't.
Because it's I don't
That's
know
a
about
good
you,
point,
but I haven't had an invite to a private island this week yet at all.
Gosh.
I know,
You
shocking.
have to do something about it. No, I think actually that's a good point. You feel safe, because very often when we watch things that are more close to home, murders that, where somebody's invaded a house, which are very rare, it can play on people's minds. This is why when there's been I'm going to go to the Yorkshire Ripper for an example. Lots of people were terrified because he was targeting ordinary people, and it was in an ordinary place, Do you know what I mean? Whereas with Agatha's, they were always nearly set in nice places with rich people.
Yeah.
I wonder, I mean, I don't know if Agatha would fall into the genre of cosy mystery or cosy murder mystery. But when you think it's what people enjoy a lot of nowadays, when you think of Murder in Paradise, Midsummer Murders, it's all sort of not real, but enjoyable.
Yeah.
People like, when you actually get down to the plot lines and so on in Midsummer Murders or Murder in Paradise, they're very weak. They're very very formulaic. But people love it because it's almost fantasy.
It is,
Yeah. And I think that's the thing. I think the cosy mystery is kind of harking back to that, golden age, perhaps, particularly when it's a retired elderly detective, like Murder, She Wrote.
Yeah.
It's that same kind of idea. Was it Cabo Cove she was at? And
Yes.
just murders all the time.
Yeah.
So does Agatha fall into that genre, cosy mystery?
She sort of does, really. If you
Well, she predates it, really.
she does, maybe she
There are
she
elements
was the
of
star.
Agatha,
Yeah,
yeah.
there is, isn't there?
I mean, it's certainly Miss Marple, probably of them all, is the one that comes as closest.
Yeah. But I think there's that element of being removed from the setting that you're reading about.
Yes. Yes.
Which gives you that kind of... I mean, I suppose also maybe in historical novels, historical mysteries, you can have that same thing of,
It was back then.
it was back then, that wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And I think nowadays we get drawn, don't we? We either like that really gritty, I'm thinking of sort of Scandinavia, Nordic noir, which is really in your face and real and sends you to bed with troubled thoughts in your head.
With nightmares.
Or
I couldn't be doing with that.
No,
Not last thing at night.
Or you like a nice old Miss Marple, which is, it's a nice little cosy mystery that you're not going to lose any sleep over.
Yeah. It boggles my mind when you think of how many different genres there are, and then subgenres and
Oh yeah,
all the rest of it. So, and I think we were talking just before we started recording about there's something for everybody. You just need to know where to look. That's the thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and a lot of them can be crime related. That's the thing.
Yeah. I mean, and that crime related could be sci-fi, dystopian, cozy mystery, Nordic noir. Yes. You've got the whole range. Even the romance. You get crime in romance.
Nights in White Satin. Oh no, that's the line from a song.
Yeah. Well, you see the mafia romances and things
Oh,
like
flipping
that.
it, is there?
Oh yeah. I've horrified Carol.
Yeah. That might be an interesting podcast for the future.
Ooh, yes.
Let's explore different genres of writing.
Yeah, either that or we'll talk about genres and have to try to work out if the person's made them up or not.
Yes. Yeah.
Real or fake.
Yeah, sometimes we've said you can write for a gap in the sort of industry if you're that way inclined, but you've got to find the gap.
Yeah, I found a nice subgenre of horror stories recently.
Well,
because this pen name of mine has been writing some horror fiction.
Oh, right.
And body parts
is this is body horror?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, body parts, body horror subgenre of horror stories. But when you go looking into the subgenres of something like horror stories, it goes on and on.
Oh, I bet you
on.
can find all sorts in there. Don't look after midnight.
Yeah.
Do you know? I think we'll leave it there.
I think we possibly should
before we
unsettle all our listeners.
Before we uncover anything else we're not supposed to. Do you want to give our I'm going to say our podcast then. I don't mean our podcast.
Well, I just want to say thanks to Joanne, if I may, because since she mentioned that you two bully me, you've been very good to me so far.
Bully you. We merely ask about your writing.
You've been very nice to me today. I'm feeling somewhat worried.
Oh, I wouldn't worry at all, Mike. Nothing to worry about here.
See, when Liz says that, I worry. No, just to say that you can also, as well as the podcast, you can find us on our blog, which is onlymurdersinmymind.wordpress.com. And I put up a picture every week and invite people to write a short story about it, and that's becoming quite popular. So if you want to have a look at that or have a look at some of the stories, in fact, I must get some permission from some of the people who've been writing stories and read some out.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That'd be great. Yeah.
I must do that.
Yeah.
And also we put some notes about each podcast up there as well.
So yeah,
have a look there.
it's a very good site. I can recommend. I know I'm biased, but it's very professional. Okay, so we'll leave it there. Hope you've enjoyed our dip into the travels of Agatha Christie and how it sort of reflected on her writings. And we'll be back with something completely different next week. Bye for now. You have been listening to Only Murders in My Mind, a Random Thought production, produced by John Bissett. The music in Peril was composed and recorded by OM Studio Strings.